The best trade I ever made? I didn't take it. Here's why doing nothing might be the most profitable thing you'll ever learn. One of the most profound shifts you need to make as a trader is redefining what work means. In almost every other field, work is visible, active, and measurable. A carpenter works by building. A writer works by writing. A salesperson works by calling prospects. The work is obvious, tangible, and directly connected to output. But the work of trading? The work of trading is waiting, observing, thinking, preparing, and then occasionally executing. A professional trader might spend 40 hours a week watching markets and take only 3 trades. To an outside observer, it looks like they're doing almost nothing. They're not frantically clicking buttons. They're not constantly in and out of positions. They're just watching. This creates a massive psychological conflict, especially for people who come from high-action careers. Lawyers, salespeople, entrepreneurs, executives, they're all used to their effort having a direct, visible impact. Do more work, get more results. It's intuitive and satisfying. Trading inverts this relationship. Do more trading, typically get worse results. The most profitable traders are often the ones who trade the least. They wait for their A-plus setups, execute them flawlessly, and then return to waiting. The work isn't in the trading, it's in the waiting, the discipline, and the mental management required to resist everything that's not perfect. Think about what this means practically. You might spend 5 hours watching charts, analyzing price action, tracking volume, and staying mentally prepared. During those 5 hours, you take 0 trades. From an outside perspective, you did nothing. But from a professional trading perspective, you did everything right. You protected your capital. You didn't force trades that weren't there. You maintained your discipline. That's the work. That's what you're being paid for. Not the clicking of the mouse, but the hundreds of times you didn't click the mouse when you wanted to. This is why many traders burn out or give up. They put in hours and hours and feel like they're not doing enough. They see other traders or imagine other traders who are more active, making more trades, and they feel inadequate. But often, those active traders are the ones who are losing money. Redefining work as a trader means accepting that. A day with 0 trades could be a successful day. Watching without trading is still trading. Patience is productive, not passive. Inaction at the wrong time is just as valuable as action at the right time. The work happens between your ears, not between your fingers and the keyboard. Once you truly internalize this, trading becomes less frustrating. You stop feeling guilty during slow periods. You stop forcing trades to justify your screen time. You recognize that you're being paid to think clearly and act strategically, not to be constantly busy. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Almost everything that made you successful in life will destroy your trading account. Think about it. From the moment you were old enough to understand language, you were taught to take action. Do your homework. Practice harder. Make it happen. Winners don't wait. They create opportunities. The early bird gets the worm. Fortune favors the bold. In school, the kid who sat quietly and did nothing was called lazy. In sports, the player who waited on the bench was considered weak. In business, the entrepreneur who hesitated was left behind by hungrier competitors. Your parents, teachers, coaches, and bosses all reinforce the same message. Success requires action. Constant, aggressive, relentless action. And they were right. For everything except trading. In almost every other domain of life, there's a direct correlation between effort and results. Want to get fit? Work out more. Want to build a business? Hustle harder. Want to master a skill? Practice more hours. The formula is simple. More action equals more results. But trading operates on a completely different success formula. In trading, more action often equals worse results. The trader who makes 50 trades a day typically underperforms the trader who makes 3. The person frantically scanning charts for opportunities usually loses to the person calmly waiting for one perfect setup. This creates a profound psychological crisis. Your brain has been wired over decades to believe that doing something, anything, is better than doing nothing. You've literally built neural pathways that reward action and punish stillness. When you experience success after taking action, your brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter triggered by cocaine. It feels amazing, and your brain says, remember this, do this again. Now you walk into the trading arena with this action-oriented mindset, and suddenly the very behaviors that made you successful everywhere else are bleeding your account dry. It's disorienting, frustrating, and for many traders, it's the reason they never make it. The cougar on the mountain, a different kind of hunter. Let me introduce you to your new role model, the American mountain cougar. If you were to observe a cougar hunting, you'd probably think it was the laziest predator on Earth. While African lions are chasing down gazelles across the savanna and wolves are running down elk in coordinated pack attacks, the cougar just sits there. It climbs a tree or scales a rock face overlooking a game trail. Then it waits, and waits, and waits some more, for hours, sometimes an entire day, just sitting, watching completely still. To the casual observer, it looks like the cougar isn't hunting at all. It looks like it's sleeping, resting, being unproductive. But here's what's really happening. The cougar is hunting with complete, focused intensity. It knows the patterns of the forest. It understands where the deer travel. It has positioned itself at a strategic vantage point where the transportation hubs of the forest converge. And now it's waiting for the forest to give it what it needs. Then, finally, a white-tailed deer steps onto the trail below. The cougar doesn't hesitate. It doesn't second-guess. It drops 10 to 15 feet, lands on the deer's back, and snaps its neck in one fluid motion. Dead in seconds. A clean kill. But here's the critical part. If that first strike doesn't kill the deer, the cougar doesn't chase it. A deer can run at 40 miles per hour. The cougar won't waste the energy. If it misses, it takes the loss, a small one, climbs back up to its perch, and waits for the next opportunity. The cougar doesn't force the issue. It doesn't make things happen. It doesn't hunt out of boredom or because it feels like it should be doing something. It waits for the right moment, strikes with precision, and if it doesn't work, it accepts the loss without emotion and returns to waiting. Sound familiar? That's exactly how a successful trader operates. The cougar isn't being lazy. It's being efficient. It's being patient. It's letting the environment come to it rather than exhausting itself, trying to control the environment. And that patience is precisely why it survives and thrives in one of the harshest environments on Earth. If you want to trade like the cougar, you need to cultivate 3 essential mental states: discipline, patience, and clarity. These aren't just nice-to-have qualities. They're the foundation of every successful trader's mental game. Discipline, maintaining order under pressure. Discipline is your ability to follow your plan when every fiber of your being wants to deviate from it. It's maintaining order under the pressure of uncertainty, temptation, and emotional turbulence. Think of discipline as the container that holds everything else together. Without it, your patience crumbles the moment you feel bored. Your clarity evaporates the moment you feel excited. Discipline is what keeps you in your seat when a marginal setup appears. It's what prevents you from revenge trading after a loss. It's what stops you from doubling your position size because you're feeling it. But here's what most people misunderstand about discipline. It's not about white-knuckling your way through temptation. Real discipline comes from a deep understanding of why your rules exist. When you truly comprehend that deviating from your plan statistically decreases your edge, discipline becomes easier. You're not fighting against yourself anymore. You're protecting yourself. Patience, the space between setups. Patience is not passive waiting. It's active readiness. It's the mental state of being completely prepared to act while simultaneously being completely comfortable not acting. The patient trader isn't bored during quiet markets. They're alert, observant, and mindfully waiting for the market to reveal an opportunity. They understand that the space between setups isn't dead time. It's an essential part of the trading process. Most traders struggle with patience because they confuse it with boredom. They sit at their desk for an hour with no trades, and their brain starts screaming, "This is a waste of time. You should be doing something. You're not going to make money just sitting here." But that's the trap. That's your action-oriented programming kicking in, trying to sabotage you. Real patience is recognizing that not trading is just the good news. Your brain is plastic. It can change, but it requires consistent, conscious effort. Every time you resist the urge to take a bad trade, you weaken that old neural pathway slightly. Every time you wait patiently for your perfect setup, you strengthen the new pathway. Over time, and we're talking weeks and months, not days, the patient approach becomes your new default. But you have to understand what you're up against. You're not weak-willed. You're not undisciplined. You're fighting against millions of years of evolution and a reward system that's been hijacked by modern trading technology. Give yourself credit for how hard this actually is. The long-term game, probability versus certainty. Here's another fundamental shift that patient trading requires. You need to move from certainty thinking to probability thinking. In most areas of life, you can be relatively certain about outcomes if you take the right actions. Study hard, you'll pass the test. Practice consistently, you'll improve at the skill. Work out regularly, you'll get stronger. The cause and effect relationship is reliable. Trading doesn't work this way. In trading, you can do everything right and still lose. You can take a perfect setup, manage your risk flawlessly, execute with discipline, and still get stopped out for a loss. And that's not a failure. That's just probability playing out. Conversely, you can take a terrible trade, violate all your rules, and make money. Your brain will want to mark that as a success because you made money. But it wasn't a success. It was a lucky escape from a mistake. This is incredibly difficult for most people to accept because it removes the sense of control we crave. We want to believe that if we do things right, we'll win. But in trading, if you do things right, you'll win more often than you lose over a large sample of trades. That's it. There's no guarantee on any individual trade. Patient traders understand this deeply. They know they're playing a long-term game where success is measured over hundreds or thousands of trades, not over one day or 1 week. This completely changes how they approach each trade. Individual trades don't matter. What matters is whether you followed your process. Did you wait for your setup? Did you manage your risk? Did you execute according to plan? If yes, that's a successful trade, even if it lost money. Losing is normal. Patient traders expect to lose. They know that even the best setups fail 30 to 40% of the time or more. Losses aren't disasters, they're data points. They're the cost of doing business. Winning doesn't validate bad behavior. Just because a rushed, impulsive trade made money doesn't mean it was a good trade. If it violated your plan, it was a mistake, regardless of the outcome. Sample size is everything. You can't judge your trading after 10 trades or even 50 trades. You need hundreds of trades to start seeing whether your edge is real and whether you're executing it properly. This probability mindset makes patience much easier. If you know that any individual trade is just one data point in a large sample, there's no urgency to force it. You can wait for the perfect setup because you understand that taking one great trade is worth more than taking 10 mediocre ones. The impatient trader is playing for today. The patient trader is playing for the year. The impatient trader needs each trade to work. The patient trader knows most trades won't work, and that's fine. This fundamental difference in perspective makes all the difference in execution. The paradox of performance, why less is more. Here's one of the great paradoxes of trading. The less you trade, the more you typically make. This is completely counterintuitive to everything else in life, which is why it's so hard to accept. Think about this Olympic gymnast who's already the world champion. He steps up to perform his routine, but something's wrong. His mind isn't clear. He's anxious, trying too hard, thinking too much. Instead of flowing through his routine with practiced ease, he's forcing it. He makes 3 mistakes that blow his Olympic dreams. Not because he lacks skill, he's literally the best in the world, but because he lost his mental game. He couldn't be patient with the process. He couldn't stay calm under pressure. Trading is the same. You can have all the technical skill in the world, but if you can't maintain that calm, patient, clear-minded state, you'll sabotage yourself. The gymnast needed to trust his training and let the routine flow. You need to trust your plan and let the trades come to you. The highest performing traders often have the lowest activity. They might make a handful of trades per week or even per month. They wait for the absolute perfect conditions, then they strike with size and precision. Meanwhile, the struggling trader is making dozens of trades per day, frantically churning their account, bleeding money on commissions and bad fills, and exhausting themselves mentally. Why does less work better? Edge preservation. Every trade you take has an edge, positive expectancy, or doesn't, negative expectancy. When you wait for only your highest probability setups, you're maximizing the number of positive expectancy trades and minimizing the negative ones. More trades means more mediocre trades, which dilutes your edge. Execution quality. When you take fewer trades, you can give each one your full attention. Your mental energy isn't depleted. You can execute flawlessly. When you're over trading, you're making decisions in a degraded mental state, which leads to mistakes. Lower costs. Every trade costs money. Commissions, spreads, slippage. The more you trade, the more you pay. These costs add up quickly and can turn a winning strategy into a losing one. Psychological preservation. Every trade creates emotional volatility. Even winners can be stressful. The more trades you take, the more emotional ups and downs you experience, which degrades your decision-making over time. Professional traders understand that their edge comes not from being more active than other traders, but from being more selective. They're not trying to make money every day or every week. They're trying to maximize their edge over months and years. This long-term perspective makes patience not just easier, but natural. The meditation connection, training your mind. If you've ever tried meditation, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I describe the challenge of patience. Sit down, close your eyes, and try to focus on your breath for just 5 minutes. What happens? Within 30 seconds, your mind is wandering. You're thinking about dinner, remembering a conversation from yesterday, planning tomorrow, worrying about something, or just feeling uncomfortable with the silence. You notice how fidgety you are, how boring it is to just sit there, how much you'd rather be doing literally anything else. This is the exact same challenge you face when trying to trade patiently. Your mind doesn't want to be still. It wants stimulation, activity, engagement. This isn't a flaw in you. It's how human minds are wired. We evolved to be constantly scanning for threats and opportunities, not sitting quietly and doing nothing. But here's the thing. Meditation teaches you to observe your mind without being controlled by it. You learn to notice when your mind wanders and gently bring it back without judgment. You develop the ability to sit with discomfort without needing to act on it. You create space between impulse and action. These are exactly the skills you need for patient trading. Noticing without reacting. In meditation, you notice thoughts arising. This is boring. I should check my phone. What's for dinner? And you let them pass without acting on them. In trading, you notice impulses. That looks like a setup. Maybe I should take this. I'm missing out. And you let them pass without acting on them. Comfort with discomfort. Meditation teaches you that discomfort is just a sensation. It's not dangerous. It doesn't require immediate action. You can sit with it, observe it, and watch it change. This is crucial for trading because the discomfort of not trading when you want to trade is the exact feeling you need to learn to sit with. Returning to center. In meditation, your mind wanders constantly. That's normal. The practice is noticing when it's wandered and bringing it back to your breath. In trading, your attention drifts constantly to social media, to other charts, to fantasy scenarios about your gains. The practice is noticing when you've drifted and bringing yourself back to your plan. Non-judgment. Good meditation practice involves observing your thoughts without judging yourself for having them. Oh, there's an anxious thought. Interesting. In trading, this becomes observing your impulses without judging yourself for having them. Oh, I'm feeling the urge to overtrade. That's normal. I don't have to act on it. You don't have to become a meditation guru to be a good trader. But if you struggle with patience in trading, spending even 5 to 10 minutes a day practicing simple breath meditation will literally train the exact mental muscles you need. You're teaching your brain that it's okay to sit with discomfort, that you don't have to act on every impulse, and that stillness is productive. Many professional traders meditate not because they're particularly spiritual, but because they recognize it as cross-training for the mental game of trading. You're strengthening your attention, your patience, your self-awareness, and your emotional regulation all at once. One final crucial point. Patient trading doesn't mean passive trading. You're not just sitting there zoned out, waiting for something to happen. You're maintaining what I call vigilant patience, a state of relaxed alertness. Think of the cougar again. It's not sleeping while it waits. It's completely aware, tracking every movement in the forest, ready to strike instantly when the moment arrives. But it's not tense or anxious. It's calmly, powerfully ready. That's the state you're cultivating. You're alert to market conditions and how they're evolving, aware of where your setups are likely to form, ready to act instantly when the right moment arrives, but completely comfortable doing nothing until that moment comes. This vigilant patience requires practice. Your mind will want to drift to email, to social media, to random thoughts. When you notice it drifting, gently bring it back, not with frustration or judgment, just a calm return of focus. Some traders find it helpful to maintain what they call trading mode versus non-trading mode. When they're in trading mode, they're fully present, watching the markets with calm intensity. When they're not in trading mode, they're completely away from the screens, doing something else entirely. There's no middle ground where they're half watching while doing other tasks. That middle ground is where mistakes happen. Vigilant patience means you're either fully in or fully out. When you're in, you're present, clear, and ready. When you're out, you're truly away, recharging. This binary approach prevents the drift that leads to overtrading. Let me bring this all together with the ultimate truth about trading. For most retail traders, patience isn't just part of the edge, it is the edge. You probably don't have better technology than institutional traders. You probably don't have better information. You might not even have better analysis, but you can have better patience. Institutional traders often face pressure to deploy capital, to show activity, to justify their positions. They have bosses, clients, and quarterly reviews. They have mandates that require them to stay invested. You don't have any of that. Your edge as a retail trader is that you can sit in cash indefinitely, waiting for the perfect pitch. You can let weeks go by without trading if conditions aren't right. You can be absolutely ruthless in your selectivity. That freedom is an enormous advantage, but only if you use it. Most retail traders waste this advantage by trading like they imagine institutional traders trade. Constantly active, always positioned, maximizing screen time. They're trying to compete on the dimensions where institutions have every advantage while ignoring the one dimension where they have the advantage. Your patience, your selectivity, your ability to wait. These are your superpowers. When you trade like the cougar, waiting in stillness for the forest to give you what you need, you're operating with your maximum edge. When you trade like an overeager predator, chasing anything that moves, you're operating with no edge at all. The question isn't whether you can be patient. You can. The question is whether you will be patient. Whether you'll do the uncomfortable work of sitting with boredom, resisting impulses, and trusting your process even when your brain is screaming at you to do something. Becoming a patient trader isn't a destination. It's a practice you'll maintain for your entire trading career. There will be good days when patience feels natural and bad days when every minute without a trade feels like torture. That's normal. That's the game. But here's what changes. Over time, the good days outnumber the bad days. The patience that once took enormous effort starts to feel more natural. You stop fighting against yourself and start working with yourself. You develop a calm, quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can wait as long as necessary for the right opportunity. You start to notice other traders rushing around, forcing trades, and you feel grateful that you're not in that chaos anymore. You start to see the beauty in the waiting, the power in the stillness, the edge in the patience. You become like the cougar on the mountain, alert, ready, powerful, but completely comfortable with the silence. You understand that the forest will give you what you need when the time is right. Your job isn't to make it happen. Your job is to be ready when it does happen. This is the trader you're becoming. Not overnight, not next week, but gradually, consistently, with practice and commitment. Every time you resist the urge to overtrade, you become more of this trader. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of acting on it, you're strengthening the patient trader within you. The markets will still be here tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. There will always be another trade. But there's only one you, only one account, only one trading career. Protect it, nurture it, give it the gift of patience. Because in the end, the most profitable thing you can do as a trader is often nothing at all. And the most powerful thing you can become is someone who's completely comfortable doing nothing until the moment to strike arrives. That's the cougar principle. That's the patient trader. That's who you're becoming.